Hey guys, Jakob here, and today I want to show you how to export Amazon custom products order details using Amazon SP API, which is Amazon Selling Partner API. So Amazon Custom, this is something relatively new when it comes to Amazon overall. And let me first actually show you what is it about, some examples, and then the next thing will be that we'll actually pull the orders using the Amazon API and do something with it. So in this particular video, we will actually push it to the Google Sheets. However, I'll also show you an example for one of our clients, what we exactly did. So maybe let's jump first to the actual screen here. So Amazon Custom, and let's first talk about the Amazon Custom program. So in short, you can actually sell customizable products on Amazon. So they have different available customization options. One of them is text customization, then you have image customization, and you have also some product configuration that you can do. The way it works is you need to register for this Amazon Custom program. You can enable your listings, then set up your experience, right? Which is pretty much configuring your customization experiences. There are a couple of videos I already noticed on YouTube on how to do it. And this video will actually pull all of the orders information about customization that comes from your customers and push it to the Google Sheet, right? So this is something that no one actually did ever on YouTube. And this is a very popular problem that for all of you who is already selling on this program and struggling manually getting those order information from the Amazon and getting this to your printing company or your printers, right? I know this is a huge problem, and we'll actually solve it today. One very important thing here from the FAQ that I got is that this is only for FBM sellers, right? So fulfillment by merchant. And very important, I think that I want to mention here is that if you are going to create this custom code, custom automation, you also need to be approved as a private developer, at least, and you need a PAI, right? I've actually recorded the additional video on the PAI, so if you don't know what's PAI and you don't know how to get it, you can now jump there and watch it. And now let's continue with the video. And also, just so you know, with the PAI, you can reach out to Deltologic for any help. All right, so custom products. I've actually got this screenshot from Amazon just to show you some of the main page. So you have a lot of different categories. I mean, if you just go here in the departments, it's crazy, right? You have home and kitchen, handmade, baby, toys and games, video game. I mean, for sure, like when it comes to custom products, you have kitchen, jewelry, pets, home. You can also like sort them by shop by the occasion, right? So you have New Year's, and you want to, order something very funny for this occasion. You actually do that. You have a party, you want to order some gift, or you want to create like some card. You can actually order it here. So you have a lot of different customization option. You can get the custom stamps, the nameplates personalized. I mean, the amount of the items is limitless pretty much, right? So yeah, the frames, max, and so on and so on. And this is one of the examples of the products you can actually customize your can. Now, today we will be actually creating a very simple automation. So at Deltologic, we've talked a lot of different sellers. And one of the common problems that they have when you are selling on the Amazon Custom Product program is that there's no way of actually easily getting all of the orders information and sending them to the printing company, especially in the special format. So I will show you in a moment what I'm talking about. But before we create the sample automation, I want to show you one of the actual real case scenarios that we solve for our client WrapLab. So WrapLab is this seller, is a brand that is selling a lot of different customized products. One of them, those are stickers. In particular, those stickers here. We will actually, let's actually go here and try to get one sticker. So he's actually a French seller. And this is how it looks like from here. You can actually select like the sticker image that you want. You can get the font and the color, and then, for example, get the sticker here, right? And then you can order them. You can also take like quantity if you want to like get 13 of those stickers, and pretty much this is how looks like on the customer side, and then a seller is getting the orders with all of the information. And then, of course, a seller needs to print them, right? I mean, those are customized products, so you actually need to print them on demand, basically. Once you get the orders, you really need to fulfill it. Therefore, there's a need for a quick data flow. And this is what we did for this client, right? So we created them this automation that we actually got all of the orders data using the AWS Lambda, and we've sent them to the storage, which is the Google Drive. However, the very important thing is that we also did a lot of transformation of the actual images there. So we created a special PDF format that is suitable for the printing company, and we solved this issue because now if I just show you, this is what we will get from the Amazon. So Amazon, if you, we'll do it in a moment, if you're using the API, will give you a couple of files. One of them is the actual image. However, this is just the image, and this is not suitable for the printing company. It's just the JPEG, so it has very bad quality. They give you also the SVG, which is again, might not be suitable for the printing company, XML file, and the JSON with all of the information. And for this client, we've actually created the special PDF output for the printing company. So this is one of the examples of the real automation. And today we'll be actually creating very simple automation that already provides a lot of value. So we'll be getting all of the custom products orders information and putting them to a Google Sheets. Before we continue, I just wanted to let you know that we actually are working on the first Amazon Selling Partner API course. So if you're interested in learning more about Amazon SPA API, topics such as Amazon App Store, differences between seller, vendor, FBM, FBA, private developer, public apps, private apps, getting PIA access, creating apps in the Developer Central, and managing and refreshing the tokens, and also doing API calls using Postman or programming language such as Python, or learning hardware concepts if you are developing a SaaS applications such as OAuth authorization, and of course getting deeper into different categories of the Amazon SPA API such as Catalog Items API, Orders API, Feeds API, Notifications API, and of course Reports API. Go to the description of this video and click for the link. We have a limited offer just for you. Now let's continue with the video. All right, so let's start coding this sample automation. So the first thing that we need to do is create our directory. I just called it custom products. And yeah, let's create the Python virtual environment. Great, let's activate it. We are right now here. Now we will be using this library that we actually use in a lot of videos. So Python Amazon SPA API. So this is the Python wrapper that actually makes our life easier. Obviously, for the production-ready projects, you shouldn't rely on a third-party libraries like this. However, just for the purpose of this video or your hobby projects, it's totally fine to use such a library. So let's use it. So yeah, in order to install it, you just need to copy this. Now, there will be a couple of more other libraries that we'll be using in a moment. However, let's open our favorite editor. I'm using PyCharm. You may use VS Code. You may even use a text editor or Vim. I don't really care. You just pretty much use whatever you want to easily follow this video. All right, so we are right now in editor. Let's create a couple of things that we will need. So the first thing is we'll need to have our .env file and create main.py. So we have our main Python file and we have our .env file. Pretty much .env file is to store your secret credentials. And we will need LWA app ID, LWA secret key, and refresh token and path to save the JSON. So in this particular thing, let's also create it. This is the directory that will get our JSONs. I will tell you more in a moment and later in this video. Now I won't be covering how to get your Amazon developer profile and how to get the PIA access in order to retrieve all of the personalized information for your orders. In this video, however, I have two videos on this channel. So one is actually on how to set up everything and get sample orders from the Amazon SPA API, and one is actually everything about the Amazon PIA access. So please go and watch those two videos if you're unsure how to do that. And if you already have those two set up ready, then we can continue with this video. So let's just jump now to main.py and focus on this file. One thing that we'll also need is actually the library called Gspread. This is the library to handle everything and the Google Sheets that we'll be using later. So we got our Gspread, we got our SPA API. Now let's start coding. So let's import a couple of libraries: OS, random time, JSON, Gspread. Now from the SPA API, let's get orders and marketplaces. All right, so we got our main function, and then I just put it here so we can easily run our functions here. Obviously, if I run it right now, nothing will happen. So it's empty program. Now let's start coding our main function. So the first thing we'll do, we'll prepare our credentials and get the orders information. All right, so let's create the file called prepare credentials, and we'll here create this function. All right, so now we will need this library as well called Python dot. All right, we got it. First, we'll load the .env, meaning we'll read this .env file. I'm actually using GitHub Copilot, so this is the AI that actually speed up everything in the coding. It's much easier to code with that. So if you have access to it, it's great actually. All right, so we have our function called prepare credentials. We can format our code a little bit. This shortcut Option Command L in the Mac, probably something on the Linux and Windows as well. So we got our function. We just pretty much reading the load.env, and we are getting the dictionary. So let's get back to our main function. So now let's import it. So we also get path to save JSONs from here. Now, when it comes to custom orders, there's a time window that we need to retrieve them. In this particular video, I'll be just using this time window, but obviously you can get the history of your orders from last week, last month, and so on and so on. Now, I'll be calling orders API, so we got this orders. Now we need to pass the marketplaces. In my case, this is the French marketplace and the credentials. Now let's create this function. Let's create the whole class called orders downloader, and where we'll be actually getting our orders. Now we will be also using the rate limiters. So I've already covered the whole video about the rate limiters and Amazon pretty much API limits. So if you haven't watched it, go and follow this video. However, in this particular video, I'll just use this rate limiter that we built that. So let's jump to it real quickly. So for the rate limiter, not to exceed the quote limits from the Amazon SPA API when it's the tokens per seconds and capacity. So just as the reminder, and according to this video, Amazon SPA API is using token bucket algorithm, and they have those usage plans for each of the APIs. So for example, if you go to orders API, you have this rate, whereas rates per second they can do, and the burst, and pretty much just creating this logic here. So we'll never pretty much exceed the quote limit. And if we exceed the quote limit, we'll actually wait for the tokens to be refilled. So I have my functions for refilling the tokens right now. Here, our functions that allows the request if the tokens are there, and the function that is sending the request when it's allowed, right? So basically, if it's allowed, we are sending the request. Here we have the recursion that is checking that, and then if there's an exception, then of course we have our tokens are equal to 0, and we need to wait the time that is actually mentioned in the documentation. So this is a very simple rate limiter. So let's go here to our get orders file. All right, so our rate limiter with the tokens per second mentioned in the documentation, and the capacity, which is the bucket size. We have the orders API we are passing here. And now we have our orders function, which works with the rate limiter, right? So we have our start date, end date, marketplace codes that we need. And then here we are also iterating over the pages, right? So if you have more orders than 100, Amazon is actually returning different pages on them, right? If you have more orders, and for that you need that next token that we are actually getting from the response. And yeah, we are getting everything here, and in the end, so we are getting our response. Here is the orders that we have. So this is the response, and then if we have next token, of course we are iterating over those pages, and we are doing everything according to the rate limiter which we just built it. So and then we are adding those orders here and in the end, we are returning it. All right, so we have here, now we have our orders downloader. Now for this, we will use the marketplaces.v French, and then we will need the value. So we have it here, and obviously if you have different marketplaces, you will use like US and so on accordingly to this, right? You have a lot of different marketplaces on Amazon. All right. So let's maybe just run this function for now, just so I will show you some orders that we get, and we check that everything works. I've actually did a small mistake here. So, and here there should be a marketplace ID. So now we have the refresh.dnv, we have the marketplace ID. Now let's run it. Yeah, because the value is giving you something else. We got our orders from here. So now let's continue. Now, there are a couple of things to retrieve your orders, customized products information. So first thing that you need to do is you need to get pretty much orders, item, buyers info, and then custom products information. So now let's jump to those. So we're using this order items API, and now we're using orders items buyer info API, which have those rate limits a little bit different. All right, so let's create this order item buyer info downloader, which will be importing here. So let's now create this file. Let's get the list, typing orders rate limiter that we have. Now let's just create the custom product information class that holds order ID, order item ID, URL, and ASIN. Now let's create order items by info downloader, that where we pass the orders API. And then we will be getting those two APIs that I just mentioned. So we get orders items by info rate limiter, and then we create a rate limiter for orders items rate limiter, get orders items. So those two, they have accordingly those tokens per second in this capacity, and we have the orders API as well. So get custom products info, where we have custom products ASINs as a list, and we have orders as a list, and we are actually returning the list here. So we have products information table, counter here. We're iterating over the orders. I'll be putting them here. We're getting the orders ID. We have a custom URLs. Because essentially the custom product information is returning the URL where you are getting all of those files that I showed you initially. And I will show you as soon as we'll download them. Now let's just create a special function here. All right, so we have this special function, get custom products information. We're passing order ID and custom product ASINs. So first of all, we need order items. So we have our rate limiter. We are sending the request using the orders API and get orders items with the order ID. Now we have our order items with chosen ASINs, because again, if you have one order, it may have a lot of different products, right? So not all of the products might be customs pretty much, right? So we have certain ASINs that actually are hard code, and those are my ASINs that I'm actually selling on the Amazon French here as a seller, right? And then I'll be just getting those orders with the information about those customized products, pretty much, which is this ASIN, right? So I'm just getting it here for my chosen ASINs. Here's the table for custom products information. And now if I'm getting the order with my ASINs, right, I'm getting this order buyer information. So I'm sending the request also using the rate limiter. This is very important that you have those rate limiters not to exceed the quarter limits. And then here I have my info, and now I'm iterating over those items, right? So I'm getting the order item IDs from here, and then if it's there, I'm also adding it to the list. And if it's there, I'm just putting it there. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. And then if it's actually there, I'm getting this URL from the JSON where I'm getting this buy custom information and then customized URL. This is a nested JSON. So if I have it, I'm appending it to my final list, and then I'm returning it here. So I'll show it to you now how this works. So let's go back to the main function. So I'm having this downloader. Now here for custom products info, I'm actually calling this function with my orders, and my custom products ASINs are those here. In your case, you of course need to put your ASINs. And now let me actually print it for you before we continue. Let's create the breakpoint here. Now let's run a debug mode. All right, so I'm actually here. And now if I go to my custom products info, I'll be able to retrieve all of the information. So as you see here, I have my ASIN order ID, order item ID, and then I have the URL. And now if I copy this URL and I just paste it without the actual strings, I'll get this all the information here. So those are all of the information I'm getting from Amazon. I'm getting the JPEG, I'm getting the JSON, XML file, JPEG again, service bar menu, and the SVG. This particular case, actually, someone ordered a sticker with the customized barcode. Like this is the very popular thing. One is basically right. If you go to the restaurant and then there's a barcode with the menu, someone ordered it. So this is actually a very cool idea. Anyway, right now we have this. So we digged into those product information. And now the next step is to save them to JSONs. That afterwards we'll actually put them to Google Sheets. So let's create this JSON getter here. Let's import it from here. Now let's just create it. But first let's do a couple of imports. Let's create a class JSON information with the order ID, item ID, ASIN, and JSON. And now let's create this JSON getter. So basically what I just showed you is that we are getting the zip file, right? This is once we click on a link, we are getting the zip file. And this is actually quite a challenge because, yeah, of course, I clicked it and I got it on my desktop, right? But if you are going to do it programmatically, this is quite a challenge. So you need to do a couple of things. You pretty much, first, this is our function get JSON. So we are just iterating it here and getting the JSON and returning it. This is the final thing. But in order to get it first, we need to have this helper function get JSON. So what I'm doing here is I'll be printing those URLs. Actually, I won't be printing them. So I just showed you. And we need to create the bytes.io instance. So we are requesting this URL. We are iterating over the content. We are reading the zip file. And if you encounter the JSON, because in this particular video, I only care about the JSON. We are not covering this, like creating the PDFs. We are not covering like uploading this to Google Drive, like those images. I'm just covering getting the JSON information because for some of the products, this is actually already enough. So we are getting the JSON, we are reading it and appending to the list and returning it back. So let's go back to our functions here and let's create this very simple for loop. So this for loop, I'll be iterating over the JSONs and then I will be saving them to my directory here that I created. So let's run it. All right, I just did a small mistake here. So I should add S here and just refactor this output JSONs. So let's get this again. Let's jump to the output JSONs. As you see here, it's actually full of the JSONs. So if you just go to this one, for example, and format it, you'll get the information about this order item. Let's go here. You'll get information about this one. And now the last part of this video is to actually make sure to put it to the Google Sheets. All right. So for the Google Sheets, we need to go to the Google Cloud Platform and let's actually create a new project. Let's call it Amazon Custom. We don't need to have the organization. Let's create it. All right. Let's select the project. All right. We are here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to enable the Google Sheets API. In order to do it, let's go here, put Google Sheets. Now let's click Enable. Now we are already here. And the most important thing is to hit the create credential. So here we need the Google Sheets API. Here, let's get the application data. Next. All right, let's here just create something like Python API, create and continue. Now here is very important. We need to create either the owner or the editor. I'll just hit the owner just for the purpose of this video. Go hit continue. All right, here we don't need to. Let's go, okay, done. So now we just need to go and hit credentials and download the actual credentials. So we get our credentials here. Let's download them. So I need to click here and then go to keys. We need to click add key, create a new key. And when the key that is JSON, we're gonna click it here. And we actually just downloaded it and let's move it to our project repository. Okay, we get our JSON key. I'll just rename it. Now, since we have it, we need our Google key over there. One very important thing is to create an actual Google Sheet. So let's do that. Let's call it Amazon Custom. Now, very important thing is that let's go back to details, Python API, and let's copy this email address here and share it with our Google Sheet. Send. If you don't do that, you won't be able to push anything to this Google Sheet. So All right, let's go back to code. Now we have our Google Sheets enabled. Now we need a spreadsheet name, which is the Amazon custom. Now we need to create the Google Sheets client, and then we need the spreadsheet. So we are opening it. Now let's create this a very simple uploader. So let's create a new file, upload JSON to Google Sheets. Right, so we'll need the worksheet. And now we need a couple of things. If the worksheet is empty, this one is actually checking that. Now we need to create. So here we are basically creating a new worksheet, and then we are uploading the JSON to the Google Sheet. So if the actual worksheet is empty, we are creating the new row with the title, and then we are appending all of the rows. So now we are iterating over the JSON and pretty much uploading it over there. So let's run the whole thing now, and hopefully this will work. Or we actually get the Google Drive API issue. Therefore, we need to go here and enable it. Google Drive API. We also need to hit enable. I actually completely forgot about that. And let's rerun it. All right, we see that it's actually here. Created the new sheet. It has already ordered item ID ASIN. Let's actually maybe put it a little bit bigger. And we have customized product JSON. So the JSON with all of the customized products. And for some of the products that on Amazon, this is actually enough for your printing company. You can obviously you can do some modification with the JSON extract just as specified information. And basically there's endless possibilities that you can do with this. So let's go back to our main mirror page. So basically what we just done is we created a very simple automation of the Amazon's SPA API and the Google Sheets. So for customized products, we actually successfully got our information. And again, at our company Deltologic, we are working with a lot of sellers that are working with the customized products, not only on the Amazon, but also on the Etsy. And we are building a couple of different projects for them. So we actually work with Wraplab company where we successfully created a full automation. I'll actually leave here a short interview with our client, CEO of Wraplab. So William, if you could tell us a little bit, like, how did you find the whole process of working with us from the first call to the actual final project?
Well, everything went really smooth since the beginning when I had to explain what I exactly need, because it's pretty specific since it needs to fit exactly our products and everything around it. So your tech team was really reactive and comprehensive, and before I actually could tell exactly what I need, he came up with something perfect for me. So it was really easy and a lot faster than the previous devs we had, because we waited for like 8 months and had
Wow.
1/3 of the job done, and then they just left. And here, I think it was like in a week or something, everything was ready.
All right, guys. So that was it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. And yeah, let me know what you think about this video. What do you want me to record next? At Deltologic, we are working with a lot of custom projects, especially in the Amazon, but also other marketplaces. We're also working with the advertisement API that I plan to cover a lot on this channel. So thanks a lot for this video. Please like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.